My name's Fergal Quinn, I'm 58 years of age, I've lived in Dungannon all my life. Myself and a few other friends in 1978, we discovered punk rock a bit earlier than that, but punk rock inspired people who couldn't play instruments to lift up a guitar, and that you could actually make music with playing 3 to 4 chords. That's how we started. Now, we were very lucky that we had the youth club, which was on the Donahoe Road, the old girls' school, which is no longer there, and we had a sort of a mentor in Barry Lynch, a guy called Barry Lynch, who was the second in command youth leader at the time, and a school teacher. So they gave us a room, practically we had the key to it, and that's where we rehearsed, and we rehearsed 2 or 3 times a week. We eventually did our first gig, which was 6 songs in Halloween 1979. So that was the first one. So we just got that interest, and you get that sort of buzz of being on stage. That's our heart.
My name is Dymphna Ferran. I come from Dungannon, and I must say the first thing about myself is I would count myself as a late developer. I come late into everything. Lastminute.com would be a good heading for me. I left school at the age of 15 with no education or formal education whatsoever. To me, a full stop was a dot on a page, a comma was the same full stop with a wee tail on it. Now, if you had asked me what a semicolon was, I would have probably have said it's a music note. But anyway, I left work, went to work in McGeshel, and at 15, and it would be 41 years later before I would put pen to paper. At the age of 56, put pen to paper for the first time. I wrote a wee poem called The Laird's Memory. Another 5 years elapsed before I put pen to paper again. And that's when I first wrote what I call my verbal hugs poem. The time when you know somebody needs a hug and you just can't give them one. About 2 years later, I was at a poetry night one night in the Cafe Latte in Dungannon when I heard somebody saying a humorous poem. So I thought to myself, I must try that out. Oh, I think my back's broke and I know my bum's sore. This should be done on the mattress and not on the floor. As teenagers we giggled and taunted and teased to get your leg over. Back then it was a breeze. But believe me, at 60, it's a different story. If you manage to do it, the result could be gory. My partner beside me is eating with laughter. If I live through this action, I'll have words with them after. My right leg is poised somewhere in midair. When I hear a loud crack, my leg's now a pair. As I lie here moaning and groaning in pain, I realise doing exercise isn't always a gain.
Come on in. You alright? Well, just turn your umbrella off and you can come right in.
My name is Pastor Ufuoma Obahor. I'm originally I'm a Nigerian, where I grew up in London, and I've been in Northern Ireland for 22 years. Formerly, I was practicing psychiatric nursing in London before I gave that up and came over to Northern Ireland. We tend to go with doing things for the community. Previously, I was a head pastor of the Healing Church for about 7 years, down at Cookstown here. And that was how the idea of this charity shop came about, to help the community and also bring about a place they can come and meet. A latte?
Yes, a latte, and I might have a wee bit of cake.
I'm telling you, our coffee is better more. Brilliant shot of espresso. Culture and heritage speaks about identity. When you go to Latin America, you have things like the salsa. They do the salsa. You go down to the Caribbeans, they do reggae, and they do different kind of music there. Then you come down to Africa, you have the Afrobeats. Now, those things are not only just music, they are speaking of identity. Each and every one of us, regardless of where we come from. Now, in Northern Ireland, when you ask somebody where you're from, they will tell you the name of the town they're from. And they're very particular that you don't forget that that is the name of the town I'm from. It's like somebody from Ballymena will not want you calling them that they're from Belfast. They'll say, no, you're getting it wrong, I'm from Ballymena. Same to somebody from Cookstown. But what are they trying to say? They're trying to say, where I'm from is my identity. So cultural identity is so important that it makes us relate to each other. Like the person from Ballymena has an accent when they talk.
No, it's okay.
The person from Belfast has an accent when they talk. So does the person from Cookstown. It goes the same way for other cultures. People have an accent from where they come from. They have the way they think because of that's where they come from. So it really gives them something about their identity. And that should be celebrated.
My name is Pascal Diamond. I'm the owner of Northern Ireland's only independent specialist photographic shop. I've been doing this now coming up on 30 years. My interest sort of first started when I was at school and wanted to take it as an O-level, but wasn't able to, and it still held the passion for it. And it was only a number of years after I'd left school that I decided that I would look into it and jump feet first into buying my first camera. And I then effectively became a customer of a shop in Belfast called Victoria Cameras, and I got to know both the owners, Gary and Stanley, very well. And they, after a short period of time of being a customer, were very kind and offered me a part-time job. And that part-time job then progressed to a full-time job. And over the years then I eventually got to the point where I now own the business and do everything here myself. This is sort of typifies a lot of the type of photography that I like to do. People just sort of being themselves on the street, and they're just caught in that wee moment of time. Everything is just sort of there. I like the fact that there's no other hustle and bustle, and it's just something I always do when I'm out. I'm always looking. One of my customers one day when she was in, she was admiring the photographs that I posted in the shop Facebook page, and I thanked her, you know, for saying that she really loved them and that her family enjoyed seeing them. And it's a lovely thing when customers do say that to you, that they enjoy seeing what I produce. And she was quite sort of amazed in many ways that I saw these details. And she says, but like they're just ordinary mundane things. And she says, how do you come about these? And I said, most people are looking but they're not seeing, and that's the difference. You know, you have to be able to see these things to be able to capture them in whatever way that you think shows them off, accentuates, documents, whatever. So it may be very mundane, but it's how I see it, and I love looking for those details that people walk past in the street, you know, every day. They're there for us all to see, but it's just a simple case of looking that wee bit harder and seeing it then.
Esiri. I was born in London, but then when I was 3 or 4 years old, I moved to Northern Ireland, and I've been here for 20 odd years now. What I'm about is basically I'm studying at the moment music and technology together now, and you combine and integrate both of them together. Yeah. Yes, I'm a drummer, so I have been playing music since I was 3 years old. Probably been listening to music since I was in the womb. I started off with my family. My dad is a percussionist, and my mother was a backing singer for an artist when my family was back in London. I think music has been a very big part of my life for a very long time. I feel like consolidating a group together in Mid Ulster is probably one of the most key things to actually start any sort of music, because music, you know, I feel like modern music nowadays, it's now become more secular. Not secular in terms of the religious sense, no. I just mean secular in the sense of it's become sort of more selfish about the self rather than about people. And I feel like for artists to be able to kind of, especially here in Mid Ulster, to be able to kind of get a better standing within music, they need to kind of group together.
Hi, my name's TJ, I'm from Dungannon, and the art form that I practice is breakdancing. We've been doing it for about 13 years. Back in 2009, we started a group in Dungannon, learning how to breakdance. I think it's really important to support arts and culture, history and heritage, you know, for the next generation to see, you know, how you pass it on, to support the community. You know, without community, there is no art, history, culture, heritage. Breakdance has helped me so much. It's helped my physical health, my mental health, being part of the community, a great social outlet. I'm part of a culture which is hip hop, and breakdancing, which we call breaking, is the real term. You know, it's part of that culture of hip hop. So to be part of a greater community in that arts and culture is really an amazing thing. And that's why I personally think arts, culture, history and heritage is so vital that it's for development of the community and for the next generation, and for us all to come together and connect.